Good morning, everyone, or afternoon. I'm so excited you're here, and I'm excited you could join us office hours. We have so many things to talk about. Adrian is joining us from our CST team, and I know he is very excited. If you don't know Adrian, that is your loss because he's the best. Adrian, how are you doing? Are you there?
Hey, Crystal. Yep, I am. I had some audio issues.
Hey!
I'm in there. What's up? What's up? I can't wait for this. It's too
I
scary
know.
and exciting at the same time.
I know. I'm super excited. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, no. Now I'm just sharing, not sharing my screen. And then I'm gonna try a couple different things today, you guys. So thank you so much for joining. It looks like we're getting people in here. That's great. And we're gonna do a couple things today. First, we're gonna do office hours. Hello, awesome. We have a great list of questions today. I'm so excited you're here. If you don't know me, I'm Crystal Weiss. I'm the Director of Marketing at QuestionPro. Been here just over a year and I'm based in Austin, Texas. My co-host today is Adrian Mendez. He's our lead for customer success. So there's probably a big chance you know him already and are so excited to hear him just walk us through some of your questions today that you submitted ahead of time and some of the questions that you can ask us on the fly, because a big part of this is we want you to stump us. We work here day in and day out, and we would love to get you to stump us. But let's see, a couple housekeeping items. So tell us where you're from in the chat window. We would love to know where people are joining from. I'm in Austin, Texas. Adrian, where are you at right now?
I'm in Pune, India.
Pune, cool. I was like, I knew you were traveling a little bit, so I just wanted to check in. Working from anywhere can be fun. So drop that into the chat channel at the bottom of your screen. You'll see an option for chat. Just let us know where you're from. I'll give you a shout out. And then if you have a question you would like to submit live, do let us know in the Q&A window. And that's where you'll be able to submit a question and we can either type out a response or we'll answer it live. And then you should be able to vote up and down other people's questions. So if you have the same question or somebody submits a question, you're like, oh yeah, that's awesome. Do it that way and it'll be really fun. And then we're going to try one other thing today. I'm actually going to try and push this live onto YouTube, but that is something I haven't done before. So bear with me just 1 second, you guys. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. I'm so excited you're here. Who do we got? We've got nobody dropping into the chat channel, Patty and Wayne and Tim, we're so excited you're here. I'm gonna try one thing and then we're gonna get started. Oh, I guess not. Guess I had to do it beforehand. That's okay. We'll do it next time. I really want to start moving these onto YouTube, but using Zoom as a way to help us, kind of like coordinate questions. So thank you guys for joining us. I'm going to give it one more minute just to let people come in, and then we're going to dive into the questions, and it's going to be so fun. If you were able to join us last time for Live with Kartik, we went through I think we went through 20 questions in an hour. And so, this could be anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. We want to be cognizant of your guys' time, so don't worry. And then if you have to leave early or your question doesn't get answered, we'll be sending out a follow-up email with the video recording and with the questions and some other takeaways, help files or data sheets where you can really dive into what we talk about today. Okay, so let's just get started. Let me find my windows. Boop, boop, boo. Okay, Adrian, are you ready?
am.
Okay. Let's dive in. So today's starter question is, do you provide the service of designing a questionnaire survey? So do we design it? This is from Nicole.
All right. So the short answer to that is yes. Yes, we do. If I have to elaborate more on that, so the QuestionPro, what we want to do in here is provide like this holistic package, if you will, that can give you responses, that can help you create your survey, design it to meet the objective or the end goal that you have. Now, all of us know research usually will start with an objective in mind, and then we start drilling it down and slicing it and dicing it. So what we want to do at QuestionPro is equip everyone from the most advanced researcher to someone who's just starting out brand new, helping everyone in that whole range create your survey. So that's the service we do. You come up with an objective to us. We have some fabulous statisticians on board with us, experts on board with us. I mean, if you've not yet been on live with Dan, you don't know what I'm talking about. That's a promo for you right there.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, all you need to do is get an objective to us. We'll get our experts involved in there, and then we will drill the whole thing down for you in terms of the questions that are needed. And the one important thing that we do keep in mind when we're designing surveys is the analytics that you're going to be deriving at the end, right?
Okay.
Most of the time, you'll just think about what question do I want answered, what are the options, but you never actually think about how is the data going to come to me and what's the work that I'm going to do after the data has come in, right? I don't want to juggle Excel. So that's what we'll look at. We'll help you in both ways. And yeah, so you can reach out to us to get your survey designed.
I love that. So really what you're saying is yes, we help you design surveys, and we help you even with the end results of how we deliver those analytics to you so that they're actually consumable and you can create actions onto them, not just like looking at a big Excel spreadsheet.
Absolutely. You got that right.
Perfect. Okay, so now I'll punch an easy one now because I think I even know the answer to this. How do you eliminate poor quality responses?
Okay, so that's a tough one. All right, I'll just bring up my screen over here because I want to show you all this.
Perfect. You say y'all like you're from Texas, Adrian.
That's what happens when you hang out with Crystal a lot. Come on, Crystal. I mean, most of the words that I'm going to be using today are either educated or put inside my dictionary by you or by Rico or JJ or someone who's in Texas.
Y'all is just like overall encompassing. Okay, back to the question. Eliminate.
All right. Okay, awesome. So the question was how to eliminate poor quality responses, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, poor quality responses can be due to a number of things, right? Now, in QuestionPro itself, we have this data quality check, if you will, that is made available to all the researchers who are using QuestionPro. Now, we have a set parameter of what we call a good quality response, what's the bad quality response. So it can be anything from gibberish in an open-ended input to pattern responses, right? If you have matrix questions going on and people just zigzag across it, that's a pattern response. People who come straight line, that's a pattern response as well. So QuestionPro has data quality built in where it will identify based on several parameters, and you get to choose what you want enabled in your survey versus disabled in your survey because you know exactly what you're looking for. Like if you're just doing a quantitative survey, you don't want gibberish words, right? So you'll keep that off.
Right.
So you get to pick and choose. What the survey does or what the platform does is in real time, it will give every response a quality parameter or a grade, if you will.
Okay.
And all of those flags will start showing up in your response viewer. There you go. And all you need to do is check for yourself if that data quality is true or it's false. So sometimes the system gets too stringent and you probably want to be a little bit more flexible. So you can uncheck it, right? And let the quality go through. If you don't like the response, if you agree with what the system has told you, and it will tell you exactly where it's failed. So for example, this guy has failed on a duplicate IP.
Oh, so he filled it out twice.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Or either he had his wife fill it out.
Okay.
Either way, we're all working from home, right? So you can never be too sure about it. So you can either unflag the response, or you can just delete the flagged responses. Just remove it out completely.
And then when you delete them, does that delete them from your data set too? So then you know they're just totally gone?
Yes. So when you delete them, it's like QuestionPro forgets that data was ever collected.
They existed.
Yeah.
They're just gone forever.
That's right. So that's one way of doing it, right? But I'll also tell you the other way is this is what the system will tell you. Sometimes you want to go in and check for yourself. And again, I do recommend that if you have a small subset of responses, like 100 responses, you can go in, check for yourself, read the response, and say whether you want it versus you don't want it, and delete what you don't want, because then your analytics gets updated as per that.
Yes. Cool.
Awesome.
Okay. So we had one M&H submitted a question on our Q&A board. So, hey, everybody, just a reminder, you can let us know where you're from in the chat window. And then if you want to submit a question in live time, you can submit it in the Q&A window at the bottom of your screen. Okay, so can you walk us through best worst scale? Just, maybe give us the lowdown on when to use it and how to use it and where to find it in QuestionPro.
Okay, awesome. So the best worst scale, for the simplest way, or the way I like to approach it, think about it, is I'll just call it the maximum differentiation question. It's
wait,
relativity.
hold on. The maximum difference. I feel like best worst scale was a lot easier to understand.
Yeah, so best worst scale is essentially when you give out a number of statements to your respondents, and they have to select from those statements what they like the best and what they like the worst.
Okay.
So it's Max Diff for you.
Oh, you're going to get us into the research world. Okay, so if you wanted to do that on QuestionPro, where would you do it and how would we do that?
Okay, so if you wanted to do that on QuestionPro, you would definitely have to go into what we have listed as the advanced questions in the question edition library. So you click on add a question, you get the little sidebar that comes up. I'm just waiting for this to load. Okay, let's do it here. Okay. You hit the question, you go into advanced, and you get the max diff, right?
Oh, okay.
There you go. So you click on it and you get the best and the worst. Once you've added it in, all you need to do is just get your statements in here. Now, these questions can be really large. If you understand what I mean in terms of a lot of statements that you will be probably cutting, that you'd want the system to just rotate and not have them show in the same list. Like for example, the list that you see of credit cards, I probably don't want all of them to come up as is. Like I don't want someone to be selecting between Visa and MasterCard always. I want the system to act smart and rotate it for me. So that's like the additional settings that you get in the Max Diff, if you will. And you need to be cognizant of what you're setting up, right?
Okay.
If you have a list of like 30 to 40 statements, it's unrealistic to ask all your respondents to actually go through after all of that. Because just imagine how many pages and how many clicks they're going to do.
Yeah,
it gets tiring, right? I mean, but think about it. If you are in your respondent shoe and you know that you have to select one option on the left, option on the right, and click next, you'll probably just randomly start answering it. So be cognizant of what's there. Keep it short. keep the best and the worst scale questions short. Like keep it, I'd suggest keep 5 options on a single page. Don't do any more than that, because it's easier for me to reach a decision in 5.
Mm-hmm.
Much better in 2, but I mean.
I mean, when you only have 2 options, yes, but I understand what you're saying there. So when you're looking for your customers or your respondents to answer, hey, I like to vacation in San Diego, I don't know, Cancun, Canada, and we have somebody from South Africa, I'll say South Africa. Then you can say, you know, you have to say like most, least, and then they kind of just like break it down from there. Or do they only get to pick one of each? Can you just like walk us through how the radial buttons work?
Okay, they can walk. Okay, this is what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add a couple more options in here.
Okay.
And okay, I'm going to put some Indian names in there. For those of you who don't know what that is, you can ignore it. They're Indian names.
Sounds good. Indian banks?
Yeah, they're all Indian banks. Okay, so what we do is I can either show this list up front, right? So if I do a preview, I can show the list up front. Oh, by the way, we do translations as well, if you didn't notice that.
Ooh, but, nice plug there.
Thank you. So you can show the list as is. And what your respondent is expected to do is from the list that is shown, you select what you prefer the most and what you prefer the least and continue on, right?
Okay.
The simplest way. Now, in QuestionPro, we have given you the option of actually breaking it down. Now, I'm going to break it down to 3 tasks or attributes for that matter per page. And this is what it does. This is literally what it does. I'm previewing it. It's just going to break my whole list into groups of 3.
Oh, so then you could rotate. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So I'm going to now in the section that's shown to me, I'm going to select the most and the least, and I'm going to say next, and it comes here. Again, I'm going to show, now it's showing me 4 because I have an odd number of options. It's not dividing, so my bad. But then you kind of respond to this, and that's about it. Now, when is it mess both, or how do you interpret it? It's all about relativity, right? Or the options that are selected are relative to each other. So even the share or the calculations that you get afterwards, they're all relative. So
okay,
it's not absolute. It's not absolute significance. It's relative significance of all of these options with each other, and that is exactly what you see in the responses as well. I mean, when the responses come out, I'm just going to try to find one with all the responses and show you what it looks like. Okay, there you go. So even the preferential share, basically, or positive share for that matter, of that statement is relative of all the options, and you get it from the highest score to the least score, right? And that's how the Max Diff in QuestionPro is designed, to help you understand the relative significance of each of these options to each other.
Okay. Oh man. Like there's so much you can do with this. I'm just like, that's neat.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of this that for those of you who don't know, there's a lot of the tools that we do build that we use internally as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right. I mean, we did use some Max Diff for one of the significant introductions that we did in QuestionPro very recently, but it was like a testing.
Okay, so then it breaks it down. So then the analytics break down, but it is all relative to what the people were answering, right?
That's right.
Okay, cool. Well, and then how did you get here? So you started with the question, and then how did you get to the Max Diff analysis? Just like so that real fast.
So Max Diff has its own little royal suite, if you will, of its own. Yeah, it comes under this specially designed drop down where all of our complicated analytics is for conjoint and Max Diff. All you need to do is navigate your way to Max Diff, click in here. If you have more than one question, they'll all list up. You can click on the question and then you get to see the share of preferences, the utilities, the percentages over here. And all of this is downloadable with extra statistical calculations.
Ooh, that sounds fancy.
Yep.
That's awesome. Wow. And then to do this, correct me if I'm wrong, Adrian, but I think you have to have our research license, correct?
That's right. That's right. So the Max Diff, yeah.
Oh no, I was going to say, and with the research license, you also get Dan Fleetwood, our president of research.
Oh yeah, you get Dan Fleetwood. You get to pick on his brains. You get John Oppenheimer. It's an amazing bunch of people.
For sure. Okay, but we have more questions rolling in live time, which is great. Are you ready for the next one?
Yeah, I'm going to say yes.
Okay, here we go. From Patty. After a respondent completes the survey, how do I add a CC to a manager or add a custom variable so that they get an alert that somebody's completed a survey?
Oh, okay. Very interesting question, Patty. Very, very interesting question. And a lot of people actually have this problem where like you have a respondent who's filling out maybe an employment form, for example, and you want like that assignation form to go to the manager in CC. Now, there are two precursors to it. That is, you need to be able to identify who or what the mailing address for the manager is. If you don't have the email address, then you wouldn't be able to send it.
Yeah.
Right. So either capture it in the email list, and I'll show, that'll be the second part that I'm going to show you, but that's the easier one. Or you can ask the question of the respondent. Oh, there you go. Patty asks for the question. All right, so when you've asked the question from your respondent, use the skip logic. That's the simplest thing you can do. Just use the skip logic to capture the system variable. And I'm just going to let my system load and come back in.
Okay.
All right, so this is the question type that you'd usually be using because it validates the format of an ampersand and, @ and dot, right? So once you have this in the question type, go into logic.
Email address question type.
That's right, the email address question type. You go into logic, just set up a continuation logic. That's all you need to do. You don't need to fancy it up. Like most often than not, you'll have a following question or a follow-up question. So let it just continue on. I don't have a question. That's the reason I'm just going to say, go to the thank you page. When you do this, you get your custom variable assignment, right?
Okay.
Just use a custom variable that you want to store the option in. And I'm going to use custom variable 1. Okay. All right. Now, when you do this, what happens is whatever is entered in your open-ended text box, so the email address will automatically move into custom 1.
In your analysis or spreadsheet.
That's right, in your analysis or spreadsheet. Now we come to the second part. That's about CCing your manager, right? So if you wanna, so this comes into the notification area of sending a survey out. You need to get into settings.
Okay.
And you need to set up the notification so that it sends an email out. So go into notifications right here. You will have to create a completion criteria. So again, you can say thank you. So thank you email is by default when a respondent completes the survey, it will go to them. And in the settings, you can put in all the details that you want. There you go. You can put in all of the details.
I'm sorry, I made you lose your train of thought.
That's all right. Okay, so you can put in all the details that you want, but this is a thank you email. It does not allow CC. And I think this is where most of the people have a problem. Like you come to a thank you message, right? And you want to send it out, right? And that's the reason why you go to the thank you. This is not how you need to do it. You have to actually set up an action alert. So it has to be an action alert email that's set up. Once you do that, I'm going to drop this off. I'm going to set an action alert. Say create a new action alert. So click in here. once it's in here, we create a criteria just for completion. Basically, we want to make sure we're not sending out unnecessary emails.
Yeah, nobody likes that.
Oh yeah, tell me about it. So we go for completed and survey status completed. That's it, just basic stuff. Click on save the filter, it saves right up.
And then inside of that, when you're creating those action alerts, I'm assuming you could break it down where it's like create an action alert based on people who fill this out in Nebraska for the Nebraska managers or something.
You can. So that comes in the criteria, right?
Yeah.
Of how you want to do it. Now, again, what you're talking about, Crystal, would be if my manager is predefined and I know who needs to go to.
Right.
Okay. Right. When you're doing it through a survey where you don't know who the manager is going to be, right? In that case, you just have to go for a simple criteria that's set up. If this criteria is met, just trigger it and use the distribution list, right? In here, you're going to get email the respondent, email the distribution list. If you can do email the respondent, but then you're going to do the BCC, which I think should be all right. If you're not okay with it, then go in for the distribution. But both of them are kind of like flip for each other.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to go with email the respondents, add in your from, add in your name. And in the BCC, all you need to do is put in the custom variable tag that is capturing the data in the skip logic. So I'm doing custom one. That's all that you need to do. In runtime, QuestionPro system will identify that that's a merge tag or that's a custom variable tag, and it will pull up the response from that question and add in the email address right here, and your email goes out.
Cool.
Simple enough.
And so then the manager is then BCC'd when the thank you email goes out.
Correct.
And they know that somebody filled it out.
That's right.
Cool. That's great. Thanks so much, Adrian. Wow, I learned something. Appreciate it.
You did?
I did.
Awesome.
Patty says thank you. Thanks so much for the good question, Patty. Oh, follow up, Adrian. What license type do you need to have to do this?
It's available from advanced onwards. So any paid license.
Advanced onwards. Okay, so any paid license allows you to do this kind of action.
That's right. That's right.
Awesome. Good to know. I was like, that's actually something I didn't know. That's why I keep asking you.
Okay, fun fact for you is.
I like fun facts.
Yeah, is this specific setting that we just did is actually widely used in all of QuestionPro's feedback surveys.
Oh.
So all our signatures, all of us have this one, take 45 seconds to respond on the feedback. That one actually utilizes the notification setup.
Oh, so we use this essentially every day at QuestionPro.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Wow. I mean, I love it when we can see our own products at work. That's, it's a nice feeling, and we know it's valuable then if we even were using it.
Yeah, and I mean, most of the use cases come around that way when we use it internally. There's a lot of, I hope I get to those questions, but there's a lot of things that we've used internally. And we've just figured different ways of doing it.
That's true. Necessity is the mother of invention. Okay, next question. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Tristan asks, we are trying to decrease the number of responses that are started but not completed. Is there a way to determine which question people may be dropping off at?
Yeah.
Thanks so much for that question, Tristan.
I know. I mean, I must say we have some really, really smart audience who've either prepped really well and come for this or just have some really brilliant questions. So
secretly,
the answer to that,
they're all just me. No, I'm kidding. That's really Tristan. He's from Michigan.
You've punked me before, right?
I know. You're fine. Get out of here.
Okay. All right. So to answer the question, it's what we call in QuestionPro the drop-off or drop-out analysis. we understand now. It's frustrating to actually know that a lot of people started the survey but did not get to the end of it. That's where the dropout analysis or statistics comes into play. Now, to see it, what you need to do is go into the survey that's causing you all this trouble, go into analytics, and in the first drop down on the dashboard, you need to go into participant statistics, right? So go in there. And the first thing that you're going to see is all of the statistics that you're already seeing on the dashboard. You can ignore that part. It's available everywhere else. What you are interested in is the dropout analysis. So essentially what the dropout, and I'll tell you how it works. The dropout analysis takes into account the last page that was submitted. Okay, so your survey is broken down into several pages.
Okay.
Right? So let's say I submitted page number 2, but I probably did not submit page number 3, or I left off at page number 3. Now, what the dropout analysis will do is it will highlight the last question of the page that you dropped out of or after. So the last question.
If you fill out all page 1, you get to page 2, and there's 4 questions, and you only fill out number 2, it will highlight that question that you left at.
Absolutely. Okay. And so you will get the count. The questions will all be listed here because it's quite possible that there are other people who are dropping off from other questions, but then they're doing it organically. But then you might have a problem question that may be logically not correct, or the programming is not working for a certain number of people. It's possible. It happens. It's technicality, right? So you get that question highlighted right here. You come to know the count. Now, the count is the number of people who have dropped out on that question.
I gotcha.
Right? And you get the base percentage, and then you get the cumulative percentage. So they are pretty much self-explanatory. The base percentage will tell you which is your highest drop-off.
Let's say it's not self-explanatory and explain base versus cumulative. Let's just say for everyone in the audience, not me.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, for all of you who are chiming in for the first time between Crystal and me, this is the conversations we have on our internal communication channels. So, all right.
It's like you've just joined like our normal hangout. Don't worry.
Yeah, totally. So for all the people who are wondering what the base percentage is, it is if I had to calculate between the 3 questions, which is my highest dropout question, then that would be my base percentage.
Okay.
And the cumulative is just addition of everything down.
Okay.
To 100%.
Just checking. Okay, so then how do we, after you have your dropout analysis, what do we do?
After you've had, okay, so now the best thing to do is the analysis is only going to give you the analysis in all like keeping it really honest, right? It will only show you where you're going wrong. What I recommend doing after that is taking a test of your actual survey and see what happens after that question for you. That's one way of doing it. The second way of doing it is use our fantastically placed data filters or data segments, right? Okay. You know the question that was answered last. So you select, when you're in the data segments, set the filter up for people who started the survey and have answered that question. You get a list of all the people, right?
Okay.
That's right. So once you get the list of all of these people, check them in either Excel, whatever you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable looking at it on Excel, then do it in Excel. If you are comfortable looking at the analysis online on the QuestionPro dashboard, check them online on the QuestionPro dashboard, not a problem. But more often than not, you will see a trend that could either be certain people who've responded in a certain way to the survey, like they've answered only question A or only question B or only question C with option 1 or option 2 or option 3, either that, or you'll notice that all of them have taken the survey using mobile Safari browser version XYZ. And now you know that your survey is not functioning on a certain specific browser.
Yeah, so you need to almost do some Q&A around, is it the question? Like, is it confusing or too long? Is it technical? So is there
That's
an
right.
actual technical error that's happening, or
That's
is
right.
it just, you know, consumers or respondents being difficult?
Being nice people. Being nice people.
You know, we never want to blame customers. Never, ever.
Never.
You know, and so those are, would you say those are kind of like the three, you know, you have to kind of break it down and Q&A each segment of just like what something might be like, you know, kind of digging in just by whether the questions, how long the question is, or if it's a technical problem.
Yes, yes. You would mostly these trends when you divide it out, it's usually going to be one or the other, right? Now, again, I think in my introduction, you said that I look after the customer success team. Now, for people who don't know what this team is about, is we are the team of people who will step in when you hit this point, right? So my team literally, for all of our fantastic customers, some of them who are in here, other ones who've not come in, what we do is exactly this. When you come up with a problem to the customer success team, for that matter, this is the breakdown that happens in the background, and you tend to get your response in an hour. Most of the people, or most of our clients, think that we have these logs that kind of tell us, yes, we do have logs for like server stuff and error stuff and bug stuff, but sometimes your survey is just has a small little glitch in it, which it's not logging, right? It's just a logical flaw, or it's an outdated browser flaw for all we know. To get to that, this is how we break it down.
Just diving in, doing analytics 101.
Just dive in, analytics 101. That's it. Just try to find the trend. This is what I tell everyone. Just try to find the trend in what is wrong, and you'll know how to correct it.
I got that. Thanks so much. I think we also have a kind of a follow-up question as we're, you know, talking about respondents. And I just used the word follow-up and it's in the question. Can we send a follow-up to those who started the survey but not completed it with the same survey that they started? So let's say I'm assuming you're asking, if I drop off on page 2 at question 2, can you send me a reminder to pick up at question 3?
Yes,
does it save my answers? I hate going back.
Yes and yes. Yes and yes. Okay. Depending on the factor that you've sent a trackable survey.
Okay. So for them to pick up the survey where they started, from the beginning, you need to send a trackable survey to start.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
So when I say a trackable survey, it means that one is you send a survey through QuestionPro, right? We do tracking mechanism. You get the option of keeping it anonymous, but mostly it's always going to be tracked. So when you send a trackable survey, the tracking is kept in the instance of whether you've completed your survey versus you've not completed your survey. And then you can do reminders on the ones that have not been completed yet.
Okay.
Right. You target them and you send it out. For an anonymous survey, what happens is you've not authorized the system to capture any additional information or data. Okay. So the system will generically not know who are these people who've completed versus who are the people who've not completed.
Right.
Right. So barring that, yes, you can do reminders.
Okay. So can you just show us where that option is to make sure it's trackable?
Yes, I was just going to try to do that and realize I didn't send the survey out to anyone. So I'm going to send it out to you, Crystal.
Oh, thanks. We can do it. We'll do it right now.
Right.
I'd love to.
So I'm going to first send it out, and then we're going to do a reminder, right? So
great.
Are you ready, Crystal?
I'm ready. I'm always ready.
Oops.
If you spelled my name right.
I did, right?
Nope. I-E. That's gone bounce. There you go.
Oh, and all of you just seen how Crystal's face changed. That's what happened.
Perfect. Oh my gosh. Thanks so much for joining us today, you guys. We always try to make these fun. And just a heads up for anyone, we're going to start doing office hours monthly. And it's going to be either me and Adrian or me and Kartik, who was here last month. And so you can always tell your colleagues or sign up and send us your question, or, on, one Monday, it's typically like the fourth Monday of the month, we're going to be here. So just, let you know if you have any crazy questions or you just want to hang out with Adrian and I, we'll be here. Okay, I'm going to go. Did I get it? I did. Adrian Mendez has sent you a survey. Would you like to spell it out? I would. Okay, I'm doing it right now.
Don't complete it though.
You don't want me to complete it, right?
No, I don't want you to complete it. That's right.
Okay, I won't. Bam. How many questions are there? Boop. 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 Okay, and then do I exit survey, or just like, do you just want me to click out of the window?
Yeah, just click out of the window. That's all right.
Bam. Done. Did it.
All right. So I'm just going to give the platform like a minute to get the information back and meta it back, basically. And
so we can answer another question in a second. I think we have an easy one to do in the middle of that.
Okay.
Is it possible to customize the survey with branding, like a company logo, colors, etc.?
Yes, I mean, branding is everything. Please do add in the logo, and I'll show you how once we've just done. Okay, actually, I can show it to you right now while we're waiting for the invitation part of it to be updated. So yes, branding is very important. At QuestionPro, we realize this. That's the reason why Crystal does a lot of super emphasis on all of us using the correct colors, and we have a lot of visibility on that. So yes, we encourage all of our users to do branding, customize the survey, keep it as personal as you can, keep it as associated to your brand as you can, because guess what?
Yeah.
If your survey is associated with your brand, you will definitely see a higher response rate.
And that kind of goes back to some of the conversations we've had earlier in the hour, at the beginning, where people were asking, how do they ensure people finish their surveys? A big part of that comes from branding and marketing, making sure that people feel invested in what you're, sending them. Because there's definitely some companies that if they sent me a survey and it wasn't branded, I'd be like, I don't know what this is.
Absolutely, absolutely. So branding a survey in QuestionPro is really simple. You get to add your logo. The logo containers are visible right up front. Yep. You just click in here, go in, select whatever your logo is, left align it, right align it, because you know what your company prefers, whether it's center, left, right? So you can actually do that. And then comes the color scheming. For the color scheming, go into design. Really, really simple. Okay, so in the design.
There we go, really simple. Pause.
There we go, really simple. So you kind of go in there. You can select the color palette and let the system decide where it wants to put the colors. Like, we have specificities, right? The button, the title, and the progress bar will kind of be the same color. Then the hovers are going to be like a medium grayed out color, kind of. So you can do that and see how you like it. Versus,
can you put in your, if you have your hex code, your company hex code, can you put that in? Perfect. Absolutely. See right there. I know many of you probably reach out to your marketing director or your person who handles branding. They probably have these memorized. And so that's just like a super easy way to do that.
See,
instead of trying to do the color picker.
Yes, for those of you who want to go to your marketing director and ask her about all of those colors, and then she gets irritated at you, it probably will frown at you and yell at you. Hey, I'm not talking about you. Maybe someone else. Right? So if you don't want to do it, if you don't want to do it, and this is something that you're going to be doing a lot, just get yourself a color picker. It's a very easy plugin that you get with Chrome. Use a color pick, open your company site, click on the color pick, just drop it on the logo. It'll copy it to your clipboard directly. Come in here and put it. So you save yourself a lot of embarrassment.
I love that. Good. It's a good tip. Okay.
Yeah.
So right, great. Now it's all red.
Yeah, it's just red right now. So
great.
Oh, there you go.
Look at that. Great. So customized.
That's it.
Love it.
That's right.
Okay.
And if you want to kind of control it more, go into customize. So that gives you a lot more control.
Oh, yeah, that's great. And you can change your fonts and everything.
Totally. All right, so
okay, let's go back to my abandoned survey.
Yeah, let me see if the reminder option has come up yet. So essentially, when you send out a survey, okay, it's not. Oh, it is awesome. Okay, so I'm come back into distribute, right, where we did the send out for the survey from, came into the email, then came into the sent. This is the history or my distribution history, and you can see I sent one to Crystal. Crystal has started it, but she's not completed it. When you hover, you see the send reminder.
Right.
So all you need to do is just click on it, edit the subject, edit the body the way you wanted, the email body for that matter, and then send it out.
Can you schedule? Oh, you can. Right there. Schedule reminder. Right, so if you're sending, let's say you're sending a survey to 1,000 people, you don't have to go through each of them and say send reminder. I'm assuming there's a bulk option for that?
A bulk option for sending the reminder?
Yeah, like an automated system, because you don't want to have to go through and hit send now to everyone, right?
No, I mean, it'll go to everyone in your email list who's not completed the survey. So it just goes to all of them. Yeah, and you get to see the count here.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
You know, I'm trying to act as the audience here to you know, ask those questions. Don't look at me like I don't know how to send surveys, Adrian.
I'm not. That's the reason why I kept my cam off.
I'm teasing.
No, and besides, I kind of wanted. Yeah, my background is all white, so I didn't want people to see it.
No worries. Okay, guys, we got a few more questions. Okay. Here we go. Are you ready? I hope that answered everyone's questions. Tristan and Armhild. Okay, perfect. You're welcome. One more question. In what order do you recommend using the following scale? Strongly agree, strongly disagree, or strongly disagree, strongly agree?
Okay, this is a personal preference. There is no scientific backing to it. I'll be very, very honest. This is completely a personal response. I would say go from strongly disagree all the way down to strongly agree.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anecdotal data to back that up.
I don't. It's a personal thing, right? So when so when I was traveling.
Wait. First of all, Adrian, where do we find that question in QuestionPro?
Okay, where do you can make any question do that because it's essentially like a scale that you're going for, right? It's a 5-pointer. You're just using text instead of rated out of 5. Right. So what you can do, and by the way, we have a fabulous library of options that's built that you can use. So I'm gonna go for like a matrix because I see it mostly applicable to matrix. You can do it in a single select as well, but I'm gonna go for a matrix. So you come into a multi-point scale where you have multiple rows or statements that are rated against like the same option type that you recommend that was asked. Now, what I'm going to do once I'm here is I'm going to click on, okay, so I'm going to abandon this survey for now because there's just too much of test data. Yeah, I'm going to abandon it because there is too much of test data if there for me to screw it up. Can I say screw it up on?
Yes, it's fine.
Okay. Okay, for those of you, Crystal actually did give me a sit down on the words I can use and I cannot use. And I've forgotten some of them.
It's all good. It's true. We try to keep it, you know, it's going onto YouTube. PG 13, PG, G, you know, it's got to be shareable. But at the same time, we can choose not to post these because that's our prerogative. Okay, so you said that when you're doing strongly agree, strongly disagree, etc., that's like a Likert scale question, right? That's Likert. Okay.
That's right.
Here we go.
All right. So the scale is gonna mostly come in the column. You can type it down or use a fabulous updated
Scale
scale
library.
library.
Ooh,
The drop
you don't even have to
down.
make it yourself.
You don't have to. It's there, and it's in the order that I prefer. So I love it.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just use any one of them. Of course, you can change it. So I'm gonna go from agreeability. I'll go for okay. I'll just go for the regular one. There you go. Strongly disagree all the way up to or down to strongly agree.
Right.
I'm gonna save it, and there you go. All right.
And then how would I
all of your
switch
statements, you'd have to go back in the columns and switch it.
Oh, okay. Why? You didn't, I'm just asking. My personal preference would be strongly agree at the beginning.
Do you have any data to back that up, Crystal?
No, it's just mostly being obstinate to you. Okay. That's my scientific data.
Coming back to the question,
right?
So this is how you'd add it, and this is how you'd add the scale. And then the scale is also available when you're doing any kind of other question type, like the single select, where you just have a statement and you want the strongly disagree to strongly agree, put up in the options right down. And I'll give you my take on it, right? It's a small little story. I love telling stories. I was traveling. I was super tired from like the long flight, and this survey got thrown at me, right? But the flight was absolutely brilliant. I'm not going to take any sides right now. That's why I'm not going to name the airline. But if you find me on LinkedIn, you want to ask me which airline it is, I will tell you. But they had such brilliant service, and their scale was strongly disagree to strongly agree. In that tired state, in that fatigued state, I still took the time and effort to go all the way and click on strongly agree. So my take on that was, hey, listen, if I really like your service and your option is far-fetched, I'm going to go find it. That's how I say strongly disagree to strongly agree. It doesn't make a lot of logical sense, but to me it does.
You know, that's a lot of the world. Okay, well, I think we have time for one more question and we're going to wrap up, and it just came in. And which quick tricks do you have to gather qualitative information in a qualitative way? Didn't know I could use qualitative so many times in a sentence.
Wow. Okay.
What are some of your quick tricks for qualitative information gathering?
Okay, I personally don't like to do a lot of qualitative surveys. Okay. Now here's why. Because to quantify an open-ended text is very difficult. Because a word can mean anything. You don't know the mindset that was used while typing it down. Oh, quantitative. Thank you. We just got an update on the question type. Kristen, you're not monitoring it.
Oh, yeah, I moved. Sorry. Quantitative. Oh, no.
Oh, thank God. Okay. So yeah, but I'll answer both of the questions in case there are like anyone has questions about it. So when it comes to qualitative surveys, just quantifying the data is really difficult. Yeah. My trick, qualitative info for a quantitative insight. That makes sense. So if you're doing the qualitative, like I'm going to talk about like the basic qualitative. If you're doing the upfront qualitative, don't ask people to enter big paragraphs, because you're going to be stuck there reading through it or trying to use our sentiment analysis and text highlighter for trying to create phrases and trying to create keywords. It gets taxing when you want to do it. If there's an easier way for you to turn the open-ended text into an option-based question, I would say do it, right? And then it comes to the other way, where qualitative info is going to be taken in for quantitative insights. Now, it's kind of the same thing, but what I do suggest doing is, number one is keep the question that you ask, right? For example, if I say, I want, please tell us how you enjoyed today's office hour with Crystal and me, right? Now, that's like it's left a very big chain of thought. And now you can see is literally trying to think about positive, negative, neutrals in her head and go like, I can say this and I can say that and I can say this, right? Rather, if I change the structure of that question and say, what captured your mind in the first 5 minutes of attending the office hours? Right? Now I'm going to be far more subjective to it.
Right.
So structure your questions based on the response that you are looking for, number one. If you are absolutely, and I know there are situations where we just cannot get out of it. Like, I did not like office hours today. Well, why didn't you like it? That's an open-ended question, right? There's no other way we can trim it down. So in those situations, when you do have to go for the long paragraph or the long kind of answer in brief, if you will, where people will write paras and paras and paras, what you can do is come up with phrases. Look at a few responses, come up with phrases. We have a tool that's built into the system that's called the text tagging or sentiment analysis. You can use either one. Both of them are available on our research editions. What you do with that is you add the phrase or you add several keywords and you give it one tag. Like, this is positive, or this is helpful, or this is feedback, right? And then what the text tagging would do is it will, like a web crawler, so it will crawl all of my open-ended inputs, and it will give you a quantitative feedback on it. So it'll give you charts and text and I'm trying to bring it up as I'm talking, so bear with me.
I was like, yeah, that's cool. It would be something fun to see.
See, I so knew you would say this. That's the reason I was just trying my way to kind of like just get it up and then show it to you. So here you go. Now, again, like I said, we use a lot of our own tools internally in QuestionPro. So this is from the time when QuestionPro was not work from anywhere. It was an anchored down office in Pune and Mexico and Austin and Dubai and Germany. And I'm very sorry to all the other offices if I forgot to mention you. So this was a feedback survey that I did of everyone who used to be in the India office on what they thought about the cafeteria in QuestionPro's office, about the parking space, and the recreational room. So we had a rec room, and what they thought about it. And what I did was, if you see the keywords, right? I added the keywords and I just wanted positive sentiment to come back. And that's what I did over here. And the same thing was here. Now, it's taking some time there's no enough data, but I was looking for a very specific issue regarding cutlery.
There weren't enough spoons.
No, yeah, so
that's funny.
I told you, every survey starts with an objective. The objective of this survey was there wasn't cutlery.
Were you trying to do a survey to like hustle more spoons, and you wanted data to prove that?
Yes, I did. Of course I did. So you see, I created the tag of spoons. I should have kept them separate, but well, I created the tag, and if people had agreed with what I wanted them to agree with, I would get my data right here.
I gotcha.
So I hope that answers the question, but these are the two ways you can really go about with it.
I think that's awesome. Thank you guys. Wow, we covered a lot of questions today, from complicated to easy. I think, everything from using our Essentials license to customize your logo, to using our research edition where you would get to do Max Diff and this kind of qualitative, quantitative, I'm just using words for those now, analysis. But, we're always here to support you guys as the QuestionPro team. We want to make sure that, it's the insights really can change your lives and your company. And that means asking the right questions and through the right question types. And so we are here to help you do that. Thank you so much, Adrian, for joining us and just hanging out with me during these office hours. Now, next month, I'll probably switch back to Kartik. Nothing against you. We're just doing it every other month. Guys, make sure you tell your friends, make sure you sign up for office hours. We'll be here every month. Ciao, guys. Have an awesome day.
Enjoy, everyone. Thanks, Crystal. Bye-bye.
Bye.